Yo, what's up guys, we are back for chapter 83 of Hope You're Happy Lemon, and yeah, let's just hop straight into it. Off my initial read of the chapter, I feel like the series is going to take one of two turns. We're either just going to kind of progress straight into Lemon and Sunao's relationship, or we're going to get a little delay of it with Sunao having these feelings for Kogahara and Kogahara feeling kind of the same. This chapter to me felt like it was setting up for a much bigger storyline plot point that's to come. There is a lot of tension in this chapter. A lot of things are left uncertain, especially between Lemon and Kogahara. And yeah, I'm excited to see how that's going to play out. But for this chapter, let's just kind of delve into what happened. So we're starting this chapter off with Lemon and Sunao walking back home from this book festival. They did go and get food afterwards. And basically, Lemon got a text from Kogahara during this time because Kogahara was asking for a favor or something. But Lemon doesn't respond because she's doing this thing with Sunao. And yeah, we're kind of just getting post that. We get a little dialogue of Sunao and Lemon here, just a little back and forth saying how they enjoyed today and how it was so much fun. Lemon here, she does have kind of like this flirtatious look about her. We're really starting to see her favor towards Sunao become more noticeable, right? It almost looks like she's trying to gain his attention a little bit more. What they're talking about isn't too crazy important. It's just that they're talking more together and getting a little bit more personal with each other, especially what's been going on in the past. Their conversation starts to wrap up as Lemon gets near her house and she's like, oh, it's okay, I can walk the rest of the way. Here she's trying to like rush the situation, and so I was just like, oh, well, if it's just right here, I can walk you back. It's not too big of a deal. But yeah, she goes and scurries off, and yeah, that's kind of where we end off. Why is she doing this? She's basically doing this because it wouldn't look very good if she doesn't respond to Kogahara needing help, and she appears with Sunao. As Lemon is walking off into the distance, Sunao is kind of reminiscing about their little outing that they just had. He's saying, oh yeah, today was pretty fun actually. But then he goes and reminds himself, hey, she just invited me as a friend. This isn't a date. And he thinks that he might be reading too much into it. Of course, he's not really. Lemon has just been warming up to him again. And yeah, it looks like Sunao still has lingering feelings for Lemon, even though he said, and he's been stating throughout the series that he doesn't. It's very obvious to see that he still does. But it looks like hopefully his affinity towards Kogahara is still there, because personally I would like to see that work out. I'd like to see that happen. I just feel like a series like this, the way it's been set up, there needs to be a little bit more tension, a little bit more drama. And yeah, that's just my opinion on how this series has been going and what I see for it in the future. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. But yeah, jumping back, Lemon gets inside the house and she's just saying, oh, the reason why she did this was she didn't want Kogahara to see them walking together, and she didn't think Sunao would want that either, because from the looks of it in the story, Kogahara definitely has feelings for Sunao, and Sunao is smitten with her for the most part, and she doesn't want to throw a wrench in the whole plan, right? But it looks like something's gonna happen soon because of what Lemon says next, right? She says, it was fun though. Sunao said it brought back old memories of when we were together. Maybe it was just deja vu, and there probably wasn't any deeper meaning to what he said, but deep down, I can't help hoping that maybe, just maybe, he might see me that way, even just a little. Well, what do we have here? Lemon's still holding out hope. She's in a weird situation, right? When she kind of broke things off with Sunao in the past, he was madly in love with her. But because of her lack of self-worth and self-confidence, she pushed him away. They came up with some crazy lie saying she was cheating, right? But now that they've like resolved that issue, Sunao just can't come to hate her anymore. And the thing is that her feelings never went away. She just thought she was doing the best she could in the situation that she was in, right? Obviously, not the best, and now we're in this kind of weird love triangle situation. So yeah, I mean, it's just Lemon is having a rough time right now. She wants to get back with Sunao, rightfully so, but her best friend, the person she idols the most in this world, seems to have fallen in love with Sunao as well. And she doesn't want to be seen as the bad guy here, right? But even still, she is kind of stealing her resolve for something potentially bad to happen or something to come of the situation. So even though she's saying like, yeah, right, as if that's ever gonna happen, Sunao is just too dense, deep down I think she's still holding out a little bit of hope. And this is where we get to see what was actually going on. We get to see why Kogahara was texting Lemon, right? Basically, the landlord needed to do some equipment inspection and no one was home. And she just wanted to know if Lemon was home so that she could be there for it. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, that was kind of that whole texting situation. It wasn't anything crazy. Personally, what I thought was going to happen here was Kogahara confiding or telling Lemon about her feelings towards Sunao. She's been going to friend and asking about like what is love and just trying to understand it a little bit more, understand these feelings that she has. And I thought she was going to do the same with Lemon. I think that was still a good way to go. Maybe we get that in the next coming chapters. But yeah, that's honestly what I thought the text was about. But yeah, it was a little more less significant than I thought it would be. But what it does do is it goes and brings up this point of, oh, Lemon was out. What was she doing during this time? And that's what Kogahara goes and asks. And what Lemon goes and says is, oh, I was just out shopping. But an important thing that she says here is that it was by myself, right? So Lemon straight up lies to Kogahara here and says that she was just shopping by herself, buying some books or whatever. But we know that's not the case. And yeah, we just get a little conversation of the two catching up with each other. Lemon asking where Kogahara was at. The conversation kind of develops into talking about food, like if they're gonna eat anything for dinner. And this is where Lemon starts to choke up a little bit, right? She's getting a little nervous, a little panicked. And Lemon just goes and says like quickly, oh, I already ate. So it's fine. You don't need to make anything for me. We don't need to do anything for dinner. And yeah, she kind of just hurries out, kind of ends the conversation there. And yeah, that's kind of the end of that. We do get a panel though of while she's walking out, like while she's going to her room, Kogahara goes and notices like the tote bag that she has from the book festival. She did go and buy a book and they give her like a little bag. What I'm assuming here is that Sunao also has the same bag. And I think that's where some drama is going to get stirred up into the series. Because as we just saw, Lemon said, hey, I was out shopping by myself. And she got these books by herself. She went and got dinner by herself. So she had a little me time, to say the least, which is obviously not the case. And I think we're going to get some of that where maybe Sunao hangs out with Kogahara and she might see the bag that he also has, like the same exact bag. And that's going to put some suspicion in her mind of, oh, maybe these two are still together, or maybe these two are more than just childhood friends. Because yeah, I don't think Kogahara actually knows that they were dating in the past. I think she just is under the assumption that they're just two really close friends, two childhood friends, and they grew up together. I think that might be weighing on her mind a little bit. We haven't really got that much out of Kogahara's character yet. Mentality wise, we've just gotten like, oh, she's in love. It's just like a new blossoming feeling, but we haven't really got too much of the insecurity side out of her character like we have of the other characters in the series. I think that might be a big pain point for her, thinking that Lemon is already just so close to Sunao and that maybe they might have something going on. But yeah, we'll have to see if that's the case or not. Here we cut back to Lemon and she's just in her room looking exhausted and she feels bad, right? She's like, man, I just lied to Natsumi's face. Like I just told a bold-faced lie. She's trying to justify in some way, saying like, it's not like we were dating or anything, or we were going on a date. We were just hanging out as friends. In her mind, she was considering it a date. When she initially asked about the whole outing, the last panel of that chapter was, I just asked him out on a date. She was excited about that. So right now she's just trying to trick herself, cope a little bit. But yeah, she does have a guilty conscience. She has this weighing down on her right now, because she knows how those two feel about each other. And she's almost being like a homewrecker in this situation. Yeah, I mean, to me, the series really just feels like, is what Lemon doing inherently wrong? And I feel like that's kind of the question that I've been asking myself throughout reading this series. She doesn't feel the best about herself, obviously. And she also has this inferiority complex with her best friend, right? Who is now kind of being romanced by her ex-boyfriend that she still has feelings for. And they only broke off because of her, I wouldn't say incompetence, but just her confidence. And she does still want to get back together with him. And she is kind of pushing the agenda a little bit. And yeah, to me, I don't know if that's wrong or not. I just think it's a thing that's just, they're just in that type of situation where something like that could happen. And yeah, I'm really interested to see how this plays out. Hopefully it's just not something like, oh, Lemon goes and makes another move. She tries to forward their relationship even more. I wouldn't say guilt tripping Sunao into doing anything, but more of just like trying to force a relationship onto him. And then Kogahara just kind of backs off from the whole thing. I would not really like to see something like that happen, but it's not like I want to see Lemon repent for her sins or whatever, you know? So yeah, it's just an interesting thing to think about moving forward in this series. But yeah, for Lemon, it's hard for her to even muster up the courage to do what she's doing right now, because she knows what she's doing isn't something that she wants to be doing. It's just she still wants to be true to herself, true to her feelings. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of this chapter. We do get one last panel, and it's just of Kogahara sitting in the living room, sitting on the couch or whatever, just chilling. And she goes and says, has Lemon always had that tote bag? I wonder if she bought it today. And then we get another thing of Kogahara saying, she isn't really the type to go out and eat by herself. That's kind of unusual. And yeah, that's where the chapter ends. I don't think this is particularly putting like suspicion onto Kogahara of what Lemon's doing. She's just saying, oh, it's just a little out of the norm. But yeah, I think things are gonna start come crashing down if she ever sees Sunao with the same tote bag, and maybe she asks like what he was doing. Like if Kogahara goes to see Sunao tomorrow, or they meet at school or something, and he's like holding the tote bag, or he asks about like the books that Lemon bought, something might start up. I'm assuming that's where we're taking the series. If not, I don't know. I don't know where we could go. Honestly, other than that, Lemon has been a pretty straightforward series with the way it's been developing, and I do like that about it. It's a nice change of pace from like harem slop and just degenerate love whatever stories, but yeah, I just have a lot of hope for this series as a whole, and I want to see it have a good storyline to it. But yeah, I feel like I yapped a lot in this video. I just felt like there was a lot to talk about. There's a lot that I was just thinking about Hope You're Happy Lemon. There is going to be a chapter next week on the 3rd, right after New Year's, so I'm also going to be covering it then. But yeah, if you guys have any picks on this series, or maybe any theories, or really anything that you want to just discuss, definitely let me know in the comment section. And yeah, if you want to see more of Hope You're Happy Lemon or any of the other series I cover, definitely leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, that's really about it, so I'll see you.